In today's video, all the stars are aligning. We've got a weird tweet from Jeff Keighley and a new SteamOS update that adds the welcome tour for the Steam machine. So yeah, I'm thinking it's right around the corner. How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is Deck Ready, my channel all about Steam hardware. And since it's Saturday, I hope you're having a great weekend playing a ton of video games. Saturday when I'm recording it, I don't know when I'm going to post it, but yeah, I hope you're having a great weekend playing a ton of video games. Gotta recommend 007 First Light. This game came out of nowhere, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but it might dethrone Resident Evil 9 as my game of the year. It really is that good, and it finally got me into Hitman. So if you have a passing interest in 007, Uncharted, or Hitman, I highly recommend it. But as usual, let me know what you're playing down in the comments below. This video is sponsored by Clover. Clover's a handy app that gives you advanced access to up to $400 of your money with no credit check, no interest, and no hidden fees ever. I just had the great experience that everyone loves where I got in my car to go to the gym and I saw that check engine light come on, and I could have really used an extra little bit of cash to buy all the parts I needed to repair it. I'm sure no matter who you are, you've been in a situation like that where you want access to your money in a pinch, and that's where Clover comes into the picture. It's built to give you peace of mind by allowing you to access up to $400 of your money without any credit check, any interest, or any hidden fees. So when you need a little extra cash with Clover, you can access up to $400. And remember, Clover is not a loan service. You are getting advanced access to up to $400 of your earned money. And once again, there's no credit check and no late fees. So when you're ready to try it, click the link down in the description. Once again, huge shout out to Clover for sponsoring this video. So the first thing I want to talk about is earlier in the week, before the whole controversy started, Jeff Keighley tweeted out, one of his marketing tweets for the Summer Game Fest live showcase thing that I will be at. So if you see me, feel free to come up and say hi. He says Summer Game Fest will stream live in 4K 60 FPS from Dolby Theater in Hollywood. Then he replied to it with just a GIF. And this GIF, I'll do my best to describe it, even though it's on screen right now. It's like a New York City street, I want to assume. And there's a manhole pouring steam out of its holes into the air. And if you go look at the GIF search bar on Steam, the only way to get this to come up is to type in Steam, and yeah, it's like the second option. So clearly he punched Steam into the GIF search bar, tweeted this out for a reason, and that got my feelers out there thinking maybe this will show up at Summer Game Fest. That wouldn't be unprecedented. Every time Valve releases a game, they have some sort of documentary partnership with Jeff Keighley that goes back, I think, decades at this point. So he has a relationship with Valve, and I always point to that one infamous Game Awards where they were giving away Steam Decks throughout the show, and it kind of crashed the Game Awards because so many people were trying to get Steam Decks by tweeting the special hashtag or logging into the site or whatever. So he has a relationship with Valve. That's a promising sign. But if it was just that, I wouldn't even be talking about it. But when you combine it with the next piece of evidence, things are looking like they're heading in the right direction. I got to scroll up here. So Valve put out a new beta update for SteamOS on Friday night with the tailor-made Steam Machine Welcome Tour. And if you don't know what the Welcome Tour is, because it's been a long time since you got your Steam Deck, or you haven't had to re-image SteamOS, or you've never installed it on another device, the first time you boot up a SteamOS device, they've got a handy little welcome tour. And if it's not tailor-made to the device you're on, it'll do its best to map the controls correctly and show you where you should be looking for things like the Steam menu, the quick access menu, your library, your home screen, and everything like that. But for some handhelds like the Steam Deck, like I think the ROG Ally, like the Legion Go S, and now the Steam Machine, they get custom welcome menus that Valve hand makes for that specific device. So SteamOS is able to figure out that you're on that device, and the first thing you'll see is, instead of welcome to SteamOS like you see on other devices, it says welcome to Steam Machine. Before you start playing, here are a couple useful tips. Then you'll see a menu that lets you know if you have a Steam controller, you should plug it in so you can update the firmware. And finally, it lets you know that the Steam Machine is equipped with a micro SD card slot. Good thing to have a reminder there, because I don't think it was intentional on Valve's part, but having your same SD card be movable from your Steam Deck over to your Steam Machine is potentially going to save you a lot of money and allow you to have more games on your Steam Machine, especially if you get the 512 gigabyte one. So that was a smart move either way. It went from convenience to like necessary in just a few short months because of the RAM and storage and SD card prices. But it's really cool that they have that micro SD card slot, because I have a 2 terabyte one I bought a little over a year ago that has has so many games on it, and I'm excited to just beam it back and forth from my Steam Deck to my Steam machine and vice versa. And if you're pouncing on the ROG Xbox Ally X while it's still $999 and you plan on putting SteamOS on it, I haven't actually tried it, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work to just move the SD card up from your Steam Deck. I moved the SD card between my Legion Go S and the ROG Xbox Ally X, and that works fine. So that little SD card is versatile, and it's not an SD Express slot, so your same SD card's going to work, unlike with the Nintendo Switch, which needs a newer, faster micro SD. And before we get to the smoking gun, I have to point out, this is coming from Sadly It's Bradley, all of this welcome screen stuff, and the reason I'm pointing that out is because A, I want to give him credit, and B, he's somehow able to trick whatever device he's using SteamOS on into thinking it's whatever device he wants to pull these images from. So before the Steam controller came out, he was able to get all of those menus that pop up that tell you to update the controller 500 times before you can use it, and then only a couple weeks later, the Steam controller was announced and released. So if you use your pattern recognition skills, which you know I love to do, I mean, look at the timeline. We've got all of these assets data mined out of the new SteamOS update. That leads me to believe that the Steam machine is right around the corner, and I feel pretty dang good about that prediction because, you know, just like with the controller, which they sent out early to like 100 people, excluding me, no one was really all that secretive that they had it. There was like a Forza Horizon 6 preview event in Japan, and a lot of the creators who were there had the Steam controller, and they all got as close to the line of just tweeting it out as they possibly could. And we're seeing similar-ish stuff to that. If you know how to find it, it's easy to find. So yeah, I'm personally really excited for this. I'm excited to finally get my hands on it. I feel like we've been waiting forever with this thing. I know there's a group of people out there who are still feeling pretty raw about how Valve handled the price increase and the price increase itself, and that's fine. That's completely warranted, but I did 2 videos on it. I said my piece. I criticized them for what I think they got wrong, and I'm the kind of person where if you've got an issue, you bring it up once, it's resolved, you move on and hope it doesn't happen again. You take the punches as they come and don't hold on to past mistakes. I think a huge reason people were so upset about this is because Valve is seen by the larger gaming community as the they can do no wrong publisher compared to, you know, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. So to have them give in to the Rampocalypse and seemingly not do much to, you know, alleviate people's concerns about price increases really stung, and I think that's understandable. But again, I said my piece, so I'm still excited for the Steam machine and I cannot wait to buy it. As far as the price goes, I covered this in a recent video, so I'll cover it quick here. We know there's 4, 2 with controller, 2 without, 512, 2 terabyte. I think the 3 of them, so like the 512 with controller and above, will start at $999 and go from there. I unfortunately have to throw my super unofficial price prediction of I think like $600 to $800 in the garbage, and that 4th one, the 512 without a controller, I think if Valve is smart and they are reading the tea leaves correctly, they will do what they can to get that as low as possible. And we've heard from Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming that they wanted these things to start at $800. So if that was the initial target, I hope they're able to hit that with at least one of these devices. But if they can't, we'll use the real data and talk about it when it actually comes out, because I don't want to think about a negative eventual reality when it hasn't even happened yet. So as far as the Steam machine goes, yes, I think it's right around the corner just based on what I've seen. And as far as the Steam frame goes, I don't know where I lean yet on whether they'll release them together or separately, but what I would hope is just knowing how over the last 3 hardware launches, the Deck, the controller, and the Deck OLED, Steam crashed. People were trying to log in. We had the whole disaster with no one being able to order the Steam controller when it officially launched, and then scalpers got it. Just save yourselves a lot of trouble and a lot of grief from people who are already mad, Valve I'm talking to, and separate these. If you do it by a couple of days or even a week, I don't think anyone is ultimately going to care. And if you do decide to separate them, just announce that fact. Like, announce the release dates together. Say, okay, show up at this day at this time for the Steam machine, and then show up at this day and this time for the Steam frame. You don't got to piecemeal that. I think it'll work out just fine if you handle it correctly. And in my opinion, at least, that's the best way to handle it. And then to round out the video, I've got a quick PSA. Computex is going on right now, and it looks like Asus is about to announce like a small revision of the ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X, which means they're probably either going to raise the price of the Ally X that's currently available or kill it off altogether. So if you were one of the people who had money burning a hole in your pocket waiting for the Steam Deck to come back in stock, saw the new prices and said, I'm out, and you're looking at the ROG Xbox Ally X, just buy it. Like, don't wait, because we're never going to see a situation again like we did for every generation up until this one, where as time goes on, things get cheaper. I'm not defending it. It's just the reality, where if you're an early adopter, apparently now the status quo is that you get the best price. So learn from the past and buy it while it's available, because that thing is either going out of stock or it'll guaranteed eventually go up in price. And if you missed out on the Steam Deck during the restock around Christmas, you missed out on the fire sale on the LCD when it was on sale before they took it out of stock, you missed out on the refurbished ones, and now you're looking at the prices and don't like them. This is your best option out of any of the handhelds out there, especially at that price range. So pick it up while you still can. So that about wraps it up for the news. But before I go, I want to do what you're not supposed to do as a YouTuber and address a comment that I got from a few people on my initial price hike video, where I said they raised the price by a little bit. That was sarcasm. I'm just saying it plainly. And if you've watched the channel for a while, this is not the first time people have not been able to pick up on my sarcastic tone, which is why I heavily cut back on it for years. But I was irritated in that moment because I had to record that video 4 times because my camera overheated, my recorder overheated. I didn't turn on my recorder once it cooled down and turned back on. So on attempt 4, my voice was not only gone, I was in a bad mood. I was trying to get the video out, and all of that combined to a way I said something that didn't sound sarcastic to some people. And I get why they heard it that way, because people were frustrated at Valve. They were frustrated at the price. They were frustrated that they waited a while for the Steam Deck to come back in stock. But I've just been thinking about it for a couple of days, and I showed it to my neighbor Conrad without any context. He was able to pick up it was sarcasm. I asked Bill from the Nerd Nest after our podcast the other night. He knew it was sarcasm. I asked my wife, who is definitely biased to defend me, you would think, but she would tell me if it wasn't sarcasm. She knew it was sarcasm, but she lives with me. We've been together for like 12 or 13 years, so she knows when I'm being sarcastic. But I understand why some people didn't see it that way, and it's been bugging me enough that I felt like I should address it to just let everyone know that no, I was not saying they raised the price by a little bit. They raised it by a lot, and that was sucky at the time. And again, I addressed it. I addressed this. We're moving past it. I'm excited for the Steam Machine, and yeah, I let the comments get to me, and they did bug me. So if you're one of these people who live to engagement farm and get people upset on YouTube for attention, you won. You won. You beat me. You got me pissed off for like 2 days about this. So I'm getting it out of my head, into the camera, into the microphone. But yeah, guys, I hope you're having a great weekend. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and shape on.